Okay, we're going to another part of this that involves students and faculty, and it's looking at the development of, again, the pharmacy structure from the university in the downtown area of Johnson City. And what you're going to see in the video is two geography professors, Professor Nora Henry and Professor Jay Newberry, discussing the drone flight that was planned for the day. But while we're there, we're looking at a building that is outside the ownership of the university, but as you will see, adjacent to it. And some things going on there that we learned about gentrification starting early. And we're going to talk about that. So let's first play the video for a while. Yes, go.
Okay, we're on the railroad tracks that cross Baldwin Street, running east and west. And our leaders, faculty members, Jay Newberry and Nora Henry, are getting ready to launch a drone which will take overflights of the property developed on Corliss. To the right is a building that is not part of this development, but clearly is experiencing redevelopment. As you can see, workers taking materials out of the building and windows covered. As we move to our left and north, we will see properties that are owned by the university and are being redeveloped. One not developed yet, but the one in the middle here, the tall building, is the pharmacy building that is under construction. And to the left of that...
Now you can, Luke, I want you to speak now.
Right.
Brendan continues to...
All right, so what I did when we came back is I went to the Broome County tax parcel mapper. And this is our study area, and that's the hospital. And this is the piece of land where the pharmacy school is going to be, although this air photo was taken before they had cleared the land. So these are buildings that were there previously. And the building that we were looking at, I'm sorry, it's right in here. The building that we were looking at, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, were these two old EJ factories along the railroad track here, right? There's a railroad track running through there. And these two EJ factories. So I asked about that particular parcel, and notice that both the buildings, oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
One faces right on Baldwin Street. There are two buildings.
But they're both in the same parcel, right? It's one parcel owned by Century Sunrise Redevelopment. And so then I went out and did a search for Century Sunrise. And I came up with this particular article from the Broome County Industrial Development Agency, where they had put in some monies with the Century Sunrise, and I'll just summarize this little article for you. They are redeveloping those two buildings. It appears to me that the buildings are going to remain the same. They're just going to gut them and do new interior and everything. They're setting up for apartments and a restaurant.
Over 100 apartments.
Over 100 apartments and a restaurant in these buildings. And of course, if we go back to this, and here we are at the pharmacy school, and here is the road that goes through there. I don't remember the name of the road, if anyone else does, but it's a very simple walk from these apartment buildings and restaurant here over to the...
Is that Broad Street, Lynn?
Yeah, it might be Broad.
It's not
Yeah.
Corliss Avenue?
And there's
No,
no,
Corliss runs the other way.
Oh.
and there's no direct affiliation with the university, correct?
Willow Street.
There's
Willow.
no, because it's
There's
private ownership.
It's private
They own the
ownership,
land,
not
and it's been
directly
approved.
associated at all, no.
And it's also, if I may say, it's part of what we call a public-private partnership. Notice that the IDA put some money in here,
Right.
right? Incentive money. And this is a developer
Mm-hmm.
who's putting money in. and they both see the value of this to the county, because it's a county agency, but also in this neighborhood. But it shows pre-gentrification, right? It's hard to talk about pre-gentrification when somebody is already making investment. By the way, this article that he's referring to was published in 2015, so this is not something that just happened last week.
No.
But this is why it's so complicated, and you have to, I mean, you go out and you see something that you could never judge on your own from a map or a database, but you see it because you're out there doing field work, and you come back like Luke Willis did and said, let's investigate this deeper. And he did it by going to the assessor's file and then picking up an article that explains it fully. This is the beginning of redevelopment in and around the pharmacy school, which, by the way, was not in our study area, I don't believe, was it? Or yes, it was.